You know that feeling, right? There's that one task on your to-do list, and it's just staring at you for days, maybe even weeks. You know you should do it. You even want to get it done, but for some reason you just don't. Well, you are definitely not alone in this. And today, we're going to tear that whole cycle apart. We'll figure out why we do this to ourselves, and more importantly, how to actually stop. Let's get into it.
Wow, one day you will wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you've always wanted. Do it now. Paulo Coelho really knew how to cut right to the heart of it, didn't he? I mean, that quote captures that quiet panic we all feel sometimes, that sense of urgency that's humming away in the background even when we're busy putting things off. And that's exactly what we're tackling today, how to close that frustrating gap between wanting to do something and actually doing it.
Okay, so this whole thing, it actually has a name. It's called the intention-action gap. Just think about any New Year's resolution you've ever made. I mean, we all start with the absolute best intentions, right? This is the year. But then, life kind of gets in the way, and that grand plan never really becomes a real, everyday action. Well, that space, that little bit of empty air between what you planned to do and what you really did, that's the gap we're jumping into. So yeah, the definition sounds pretty straightforward, but its impact on our lives is huge. And here's the most important thing to get. This gap is not some kind of personal failure. It's not you. It's just how our brains work. Seriously, it's a documented part of human psychology. Our brains are basically wired to want the good stuff right now. And that often means our big, important, long-term goals get pushed aside for whatever feels easier or more comfortable in the moment.
All right, so why does this gap even exist? It's so easy to just write it off as, oh, I'm just lazy. But the real reasons are way more interesting and honestly kind of fascinating. We're going to peel back the layers here and really get into the psychology that makes the word later sound so good.
So let's just ask it straight up. Why do we really procrastinate? Is it because we're bad at managing our time, or we just don't have enough discipline? Well, the answer is probably not what you think. And I'm willing to bet it's going to completely change the way you look at this whole habit.
Okay, first things first, let's just clear the air on this one. It is not about laziness. Procrastination is not some deep-seated character flaw. And telling yourself you're lazy, it's literally the worst thing you can do. It's totally unhelpful, and all it does is pile on guilt and shame, which just makes you want to avoid the task even more. It's a vicious cycle. Okay, here it is, the big secret. Procrastination is all about avoiding negative feelings. That's it. It's basically a way we try to manage our emotions. Think about it. When a task makes you feel bored or anxious or just totally overwhelmed, putting it off gives you this little sigh of relief. It's a temporary mood boost. We're basically giving in to feel good for a few minutes, even though we know deep down it's just going to create more stress later on. It's a quick fix, not a real solution.
And this whole avoidance thing can look different for different people. See if any of these sound familiar. First, you've got the thrill seeker. This is the person who gets a genuine rush from racing against the clock. Then there's the avoider. They're terrified of being judged. Their logic is, hey, if I don't really try, then nobody can say I failed. And finally, the indecisive procrastinator. This is often a perfectionist in hiding. They're so worried about not doing it perfectly that they get totally paralyzed and can't even begin.
And then there's this classic mental trap we all fall into. We have this magical belief that future you is going to be a completely different person. A superhero, basically, right? Tomorrow, you'll wake up full of motivation, bursting with energy, totally focused. It's actually a known cognitive bias. The problem is, when tomorrow finally arrives, it's just today again, and you're still you, facing the exact same task and the exact same feelings you were trying to avoid. Okay, so we figured it out. The root of the problem isn't laziness, it's our emotions and these tricky thought patterns. But here's the really good news. Our grains aren't set in stone. They're changeable. So now, let's get into the practical stuff. How to actually start rewiring that inner critic and those thoughts that are keeping you stuck. The main tool we're going to use is called cognitive restructuring. And it works because of this amazing thing our brains can do called neuroplasticity, which is just a fancy way of saying our brains can literally change and create new connections. This isn't some self-help fantasy. It's actual science. It's about consciously challenging the unhelpful stories you tell yourself and swapping them out for better ones. So let's get real for a second. Think about the last time you put something off. What was the little story running through your mind? What were you telling yourself? Was it, I'm just not good enough for this? Or maybe, this has to be absolutely perfect. Or the classic, I'll just wait until I feel more inspired. You have to know what the story is before you can change the ending.
And you know, these stories we tell ourselves, they usually fall into a few common traps, like all or nothing thinking. That's when you think, well, if I can't write the whole report perfectly right now, I might as well not even start. Or catastrophizing, where your brain immediately jumps to the worst possible scenario. And oh, the should statements. I should be more productive. I should have this done already. They just pile on the pressure. Recognizing which one is your go-to move, it's like finally flipping the light switch on and seeing what's really in the room.
And that brings us to what might be the most powerful tool of all. And it's going to sound weird. It's self-compassion. I know, it feels like the opposite of what you should do, but the research is clear. Beating yourself up does not work. Being kind to yourself is how you break the cycle. When you actually forgive yourself for procrastinating, you get rid of the guilt and shame. And remember, those are the feelings that made you procrastinate in the first place.
Okay, so we've done the mind work. We're being kinder to ourselves. Now it's time to actually get moving. Let's talk about the single best trick for breaking through that I don't want to feeling and just starting. You know how you look at a big project and it just feels like a giant, unclimbable mountain? It's completely overwhelming. The secret isn't trying to figure out how to leap to the top in one go. Nope. The secret is to find one tiny, ridiculously, almost laughably small first step. 2. That's it. That's the number. This little number is the key to unlocking a ton of momentum.
It's called the 2-minute rule. It comes from the productivity guru David Allen, and trust me, it is a total game changer. The rule couldn't be simpler. If a task pops into your head that you know will take less than 2 minutes to do, you just do it. Right then, right there. Don't write it down, don't put it on a list, just do it. This one simple habit stops all those tiny little tasks from stacking up and creating this huge cloud of mental clutter.
So here's how you use it. See a dish in the sink? That's less than 2 minutes. Do it. Need to send that quick confirmation email? 2 minutes. Do it. Every time you knock one of these tiny tasks out, your brain gives you a little hit of dopamine, the feel-good chemical. It feels great, and that creates this awesome positive feedback loop. You start building momentum, and you're literally training your brain to be someone who just takes action.
Now, the 2-minute rule is amazing for getting the ball rolling. But if you really want to conquer procrastination for the long haul, you're going to need more than one tool in your belt. So let's finish up by building out your complete action toolkit.
The whole idea here is to have different strategies for different problems. You could try something like the Pomodoro method. That's where you work in short 25-minute bursts with a timer. It's great for big, scary tasks. Or just focus on breaking a huge project down into the tiniest possible steps. Sometimes all you need is an accountability partner, someone to check in with you. Oh, and this is huge. Actually celebrate your small wins. It helps lock in the good habits. And last, but definitely not least, schedule real rest. Taking a break is not procrastinating. It's how you recharge your batteries so you can get stuff done.
And that's really it. Look, procrastination isn't who you are. It's not a life sentence. It's just a habit. And like any habit, it can be changed. It all starts with understanding why you're doing it, the emotional part, and then just taking one small step. So I'll leave you with this. What's one small step you can take today, right now, that your future self is going to thank you for?